Buenos Aires, Argentina, June 1955. An injured woman appears after the military bombing of Plaza de Mayo. A total of 308 civilians were killed during the peaceful protest in one of Buenos Aires' busiest areas, making it Argentina's deadliest terrorist attack in history. Hollywood, 1963. Photographer John Dominguez captures a series of iconic photographs of Steve McQueen and his wife Neil Adams, actress and dancer, for Life magazine. The images captured Hollywood's king of cool at home. McQueen's rebellious persona defined 1960s masculinity on screen. Korea, Japan, 1943. Battleship Fuso sits in shipyard during World War II. The massive warship represented Japanese naval power before eventual defeat. Fuso was sunk during the Battle of Leyte Gulf in October 1944. American forces destroyed Japan's once mighty fleet throughout the Pacific War. Kayakta, Russia, circa 1885. A dead Russian millionaire lies displayed, showing the traditional method of laying out a corpse. Victorian-era death photography documented funerary customs across cultures. Elaborate rituals surrounded death and mourning. Such photographs preserved practices that have largely vanished from modern society. United States, 1945. Benjamin O. Davis SR poses as the first black general of the United States Army. His promotion broke racial barriers in the military despite persistent discrimination. Davis served 40 years before retirement. His achievement paved the way for future generations of African-American officers. Palembang, Sumatra, February 1942. Japanese paratroopers board a Mitsubishi Ki-57 transport aircraft codenamed Topsy before landing over Dutch East Indies. Japan's airborne assault captured critical oil facilities. The bold operation demonstrated Japanese military capabilities during their rapid Southeast Asian expansion throughout early war. Al-Ahmadi, Kuwait, 1991. Photographer Steve McCurry documents oil fires set by retreating Iraqi forces during the Gulf War. Over 600 wells burned, creating environmental catastrophe. Extinguishing the fires took months. The ecological disaster demonstrated war's devastating environmental impact beyond human casualties. Montana, early 1900s. Two Blackfeet warriors look across what is now Glacier National Park. Indigenous peoples inhabited these lands for thousands of years before American expansion. Forced onto reservations, they witnessed their traditional territories transformed into national parks, excluding their presence and practices. Middleburg, Virginia, 1962. Photographer Lawrence Fried captures President John Kennedy playing with his dog Charlie. The casual photograph reveals Kennedy's private life away from political pressures. Kennedy loved animals despite allergies. Such intimate images humanized the presidency during the Cold War era. Cincinnati, Ohio, February 1973. A Kodachrome slide shows a lady dancing at Fountain Square. The vibrant color photograph captures 1970s fashion and public spaces. Downtown Cincinnati's gathering spot attracted diverse crowds. Such images preserved everyday moments of urban life and spontaneous public celebration. Normandy, France, June 1944. An aerial view shows the D-Day landings. Over 150,000 Allied troops stormed 5 beaches. The massive amphibious invasion opened Western Europe's liberation from Nazi occupation. Despite the caption's error stating 1945, the operation occurred in 1944. Phillipsburg, Kansas, date uncertain. 3 sisters pose in crisp white outfits with oversized bows in a studio portrait photographed by John Johnson. Formal portraits documented family milestones. Studio photography became accessible to ordinary families throughout rural America. Such images preserved sisterhood across generations of families. Moliagul, Australia, February 1869. The Welcome Stranger, the world's largest alluvial gold nugget weighing 97.14 kilograms, is found by John Deason and Richard Oates. The discovery sparked excitement during Australia's gold rush era. The massive nugget was melted down shortly after discovery, destroying its natural form. Studio, circa 1900. 2 native people pose for their portrait captured on glass negative. Such photographs often reflected colonial power dynamics and anthropological documentation. Indigenous subjects faced exploitation and misrepresentation. These images preserve faces and identities despite the problematic context of their creation. Hollywood, February 1919. Legends Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and director D.W. Griffith founded United Artists Studio. The revolutionary move allowed actors and directors to control their own artistic and financial interests. UA transformed Hollywood's power structure, empowering creative talent over studio executives. Sukhumi, Abkhazia, 1992. Georgian soldiers pose by a Lenin bust during the Georgian-Abkhaz conflict. The post-Soviet war saw ethnic violence and territorial disputes. Abkhazia declared independence from Georgia. Amid chaos following the USSR's collapse, the conflict remains unresolved, with Russian military presence continuing today. Austro-Hungarian Empire 1914. Croatian troops served the multinational empire during World War I. The empire's diverse ethnic groups often lacked loyalty to Habsburg rule. Competing nationalisms weakened military cohesion. Austria-Hungary dissolved in 1918, replaced by independent nation-states including Yugoslavia. Manchester, England, early 1900s. Ford Model T automobiles are assembled at Trafford Park factory. Henry Ford's mass production techniques revolutionized manufacturing worldwide. British workers adopted American assembly line methods. Automobiles transformed society, enabling mobility and reshaping cities, commerce, and daily life throughout the industrial world. Aberdeen, Washington, 1986. This mugshot of 19-year-old Kurt Cobain is an iconic piece of music history. The future Nirvana frontman was arrested for trespassing. Within 5 years, Cobain would revolutionize rock music with grunge. He died by suicide in 1994 at 27. Marseille, France, September 1914. A French boy meets Indian soldiers arriving to fight alongside French and British troops. Colonial forces from across European empires served in World War I. Over 1 million Indian soldiers fought. Their contributions are often overlooked in Western histories of the conflict. Dagestan, Azerbaijan, SSR, 1968. Photographer Yuri Abramochkin captures horsemen in the Caucasus region. Traditional equestrian culture persisted despite Soviet modernization. The photograph preserves cultural practices that connected communities to centuries-old customs. Such documentation became increasingly important as traditional lifestyles faced systematic pressure and transformation. United States, 1940. A 14-year-old girl's journal entry discusses the presidential election. Franklin Roosevelt won an unprecedented third term, defeating Wendell Willkie. Young people engaged with politics despite not being able to vote until age 21. The entry preserved adolescent perspective on momentous historical events. France, 1790s. A Frenchman known as Tarrier suffered from a condition causing insatiable, monstrous appetite. He consumed live cats and dogs whole, ate enough for 15 men, and was caught drinking human blood and eating bodies in the morgue, yet he weighed only 100 pounds. New York City, 1977. Actresses Amy Irving, Carrie Fisher, and Terry Garr posed together. All three enjoyed successful Hollywood careers throughout the late 70s and 80s. Fisher achieved immortality as Princess Leia. Their friendship reflected the close-knit community among young actresses navigating the entertainment industry. Mobile, Alabama, September 1977. A KKK member and a black man struggle over possession of a stick during a downtown encounter. Racial tensions persisted throughout the South despite civil rights victories. Such confrontations revealed ongoing conflicts between white supremacists and African Americans seeking full equality. United States, 1898. Photographer Charles Wesley Mathers captures a portrait of T. Denhart. Late Victorian portrait photography documented individuals across American society. Such formal images preserved appearances and social status. Photography democratized portraiture, making it accessible beyond wealthy elites who previously commissioned painted portraits. Brasilia, Brazil, April 1964. A Brazilian army tank sits in front of the Ministry of War during the coup d'état. Military forces overthrew the democratically elected government, establishing dictatorship lasting 21 years. The coup received tacit American support during Cold War anti-communist hysteria throughout Latin America. Košice, Slovakia, 2017. Photographer Damian Lemansky documents the Slovak city in contemporary times. The former Czechoslovak city became part of independent Slovakia in 1993. Post-communist transformation reshaped Central European nations. Modern photography continues documenting social and urban change across the region's evolving societies. United States, 1932. A mother poses with her children during the Great Depression. The little girl's side-part hairstyle captures period fashion. Economic hardship forced families to persevere with dignity despite unemployment and poverty. Such photographs preserved family bonds amid the era's devastating economic collapse and widespread suffering. Britain, 1984. Ozzy Osbourne demonstrates how much sugar he likes in his coffee with theatrical excess. The heavy metal legend cultivated an outrageous public persona. Osbourne's antics and reality TV show made him a cultural icon beyond music. His career spanned 5 decades of rock and roll excess. California, February 2016. A new species of black tarantula living near Folsom Prison was named Aphanopelma johnnycashi after Johnny Cash. The singer's famous song, Folsom Prison Blues, inspired the scientific NAMI. Ng. Cash performed at Folsom Prison in 1968, creating one of country music's most legendary recordings. Washington, D.C., April 1948. A little boy poses proudly in his perfectly tailored two-piece suit and matching fedora. Post-war prosperity allowed families to dress children elegantly. Such photographs documented childhood milestones and family pride. Studio portraits preserved these moments across generations despite the expense involved. Greenville, South Carolina, 1958. The Rendezvous Supper Club appears during the segregation era. Supper clubs provided entertainment and dining throughout mid-century America. Such establishments reflected regional social dynamics and racial divisions. The South maintained strict segregation despite growing civil rights movement pressure for integration. Japan, 1904. Wounded soldiers from the Russo-Japanese War recover at a military hospital. The conflict marked the first modern Asian defeat of a European power. Japan's victory shocked the world, demonstrating modernization's success. Medical care improved survival rates compared to previous conflicts despite continued battlefield casualties. Chicago, Illinois, February 1926. Pirate radio DJs dress as literal pirates 100 years ago. Unlicensed radio stations challenged corporate broadcasting monopolies. Such theatrics attracted audiences and attention. Pirate radio represented resistance to communication control, democratizing airwaves despite legal pressures and government crackdowns throughout broadcasting history. Death Valley, California, 1954. William Garnett photographs four-sided sand dune 2 from the air. The American photographer pioneered aerial landscape photography. His abstract views revealed patterns invisible from ground level. Garnett's work influenced both fine art and environmental photography throughout his distinguished career. Belgium, February 1907. Chemist Leo Bekeland announced creating bakelite, the first plastic made entirely from synthetic components. The revolutionary material transformed manufacturing and consumer products. Plastic revolutionized the 20th century for better and worse. Bekeland's invention launched the synthetic materials age that continues reshaping civilization. Australia, date uncertain. Indigenous people appear in chains under brutal colonial oppression. Australian Aboriginal peoples faced systematic genocide, forced labor, and dehumanization. Such photographs document horrific injustices committed during colonization. Recognition of historical atrocities remains crucial for reconciliation and understanding continuing impacts on indigenous communities. Moscow, Russian SFSR, 1937. Photographer Georgy Zelma documents the first propeller glider on the Moscow-Volga Canal. Soviet engineers experimented with transportation innovations. The massive canal project used forced labor from Gulag prisoners. Thousands died during construction. Such infrastructure symbolized Soviet ambition achieved through human suffering. Victorian-era beaches, 19th century. Women used bathing machines, mobile fortresses horse-drawn into waves allowing swimming in total privacy away from onlookers. In many places, it was illegal for men and women to be within 60 feet of each other at the beach. Such restrictions reflected extreme Victorian modesty. Nashville, Tennessee, 1989. Tammy Middlebrooks, 19, pleads guilty for her role in lynching Kerrick Majors, a 14-year-old black boy. Tammy and two white drifters tortured and murdered Majors after he accidentally broke a $2 vase. The horrific crime demonstrated persistent racial violence throughout America. Bornholm, Denmark, summer 1945. The reconnaissance section of Junior Sergeant Mikheev Pyotr Andreevich, 293rd Separate Reconnaissance Company of the 205th Rifle Division, appears on the Danish island. Soviet forces briefly occupied Bornholm after defeating German garrison. They withdrew in 1946, returning the island to Denmark. Las Vegas, Nevada, February 1987. Pianist, singer, and actor Liberace passed away at 67. From the 1950s to 1970s, he was the world's highest-paid entertainer. He embraced flamboyant excess both on and off stage. Liberace died from AIDS-related illness, though his handlers initially concealed the cause. Tallahassee, Alabama, 1962. A grocery clerk works his cash register before scanner technology revolutionized retail. Cashiers manually rang up prices, requiring memorization and calculation skills. Modern point-of-sale systems transformed shopping efficiency. The photograph preserves obsolete technology and labor practices that defined mid-century American commerce. Video games post-2001. The World Trade Center was digitally modified in games released after September 11th attacks. Developers removed or altered the Twin Towers out of respect for victims. The terrorist attacks forced reconsideration of how tragedy is represented in entertainment media and popular culture worldwide. United States, 19th century. The Higher Sisters became leading lights in American musical theater. African-American performers faced enormous obstacles in entertainment. The sisters achieved success despite systemic racism. Their pioneering work opened doors for future black performers, challenging exclusion from mainstream American cultural institutions. Britain 1900. A man is chased by a lady with a stick to jam his penny-farthing bicycle wheel, captured on glass negative with some blur showing motion. The playful photograph suggests courtship ritual or staged comedy. Victorian leisure included elaborate physical games and pranks. Mostar, Bosnia 1911. The old bridge stands centuries after its Ottoman construction. The iconic structure would be destroyed during the 1990s Bosnian War, then rebuilt. The bridge symbolized cultural heritage and coexistence. Its destruction represented war's assault on shared history. Reconstruction demonstrated reconciliation efforts. Menton, southern France, June 1940. Black shirts pose in front of a hotel damaged by bombings after Italian occupation of the city. Italy invaded France as it collapsed under German assault. Mussolini's opportunistic attack achieved little. The brief campaign demonstrated Italy's military weakness despite fascist propaganda claims. Shreveport, Louisiana, 1950s. Stan Lewis, known as the Record Man, poses with Elvis Presley. Lewis helped Elvis record several records when in town. Elvis actually stayed with Stan and his family. Such personal relationships between artists and local music industry figures shaped early rock and roll's development. English Channel, summer 1940. The nose gunner of this England-bound Heinkel He-111 had the best view of action ahead during the Battle of Britain. German bombers attacked British cities and infrastructure. RAF fighters defended desperately. Britain survived the air campaign, preventing German invasion. Pacific Theater, 1944. United States Marines pose with their collection of Japanese skulls. The disturbing photograph reveals war's dehumanizing brutality and racism. Pacific fighting saw extreme violence and mutual atrocities. Taking enemy skulls as trophies violated international law and demonstrated moral degradation combat produces. Detroit, Michigan, 1991. Eminem poses with his group Soul Intent during his early career. The future rap superstar struggled for years before mainstream success. Marshall Mathers became one of hip-hop's most successful and controversial artists. His raw lyrics and technical skill revolutionized the genre. France, 1985. Georges Courtois was on trial for armed robbery when accomplice Abdelkarim Khalki smuggled in weapons. Courtois seized the guns, exposing what he saw as years of injustice and mistreatment. He took magistrates and jurors hostage in a standoff lasting nearly 36 hours. Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands, 1944. Photographer W. Eugene Smith documents the Pacific War. Smith captured some of World War II's most powerful images despite being severely wounded by a mortar shell. His photography influenced generations of photojournalists. Smith's work revealed war's brutal reality beyond propaganda. San Francisco, California, April 1939. Unemployed men gathered during the Great Depression. Despite New Deal programs, unemployment remained high throughout the 1930s. Economic hardship devastated millions of families. The Depression only ended with World War II's massive industrial mobilization creating full employment again. California, 1939. A girl sits in the corner of a kitchen in her family's tent home during the Dust Bowl migration. Displaced agricultural families lived in makeshift camps throughout California. Dorothea Lange and other photographers documented migrant poverty and resilience amid the Depression's devastating impact. Saipan, Mariana Islands, 1944. American Marines examine a Japanese bicycle captured during the Pacific Island Campaign. Japanese forces used bicycles for rapid troop movement throughout Southeast Asian and Pacific operations. Simple technology proved effective despite lacking motorized transport across difficult terrain and island environments. United States, 1900s-1910s. Two children pose with hobby horses in a studio photograph. Victorian-era toys entertained children before modern playthings. Hobby horses allowed imaginative play simulating horseback riding. Such photographs documented childhood pastimes and commercial toys becoming increasingly common throughout middle-class American families. Chicago, Illinois, 1966. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is attacked while marching non-violently for the Chicago Freedom Movement. Northern racism proved as vicious as Southern segregation. The campaign for fair housing faced violent white resistance. King's work extended beyond the South, confronting systemic inequality nationwide. Niagara Falls, October 1901. Annie Edson Taylor became the first person to survive a trip over Niagara Falls in a barrel on her XTY third birthday. The daring stunt sought fame and fortune. Taylor survived but gained little financial reward. Her courage inspired future daredevils. North Carolina, 1937. Photographer captures John Smith, formerly enslaved, at his home. The elderly man survived slavery and Reconstruction. Such oral history projects documented former slaves' testimonies. Their stories preserved first-hand accounts of American slavery's brutal reality for future generations to study and remember. Houston, Texas, 1944. A Kodachrome shot shows a woman working for the war effort. Women filled industrial jobs while men served overseas. Rosie the Riveter represented millions contributing to Allied victory. Despite proving their capabilities, women faced pressure returning to domestic roles after the war ended. Jonestown, Guyana, November 1978. Jim Jones appears shortly before ordering mass murder-suicide. The photographer was killed in an ambush soon after taking the picture. Over 900 people, including more than 200 children, died by cyanide-laced flavor aid, making it the largest murder-suicide. United States, 1900. People really dressed a cat as a Valkyrie in the early 1900s. The bizarre photograph reflects Victorian-era eccentricity and anthropomorphism of pets. Such images entertained audiences fascinated by novelty photography. Cats endured elaborate costumes for human amusement throughout photography's early decades. United States, 1948. A boy watches television for the first time in an appliance store window. Television revolutionized American entertainment and culture. Store windows attracted crowds fascinated by the new technology. Within a decade, most American households owned televisions, transforming family life and media consumption patterns. High altitude, 1990. A Blackbird pilot takes a selfie while flying the SR-71 reconnaissance aircraft. The top-secret spy plane flew at extreme altitude and speed. Such photographs captured rare perspectives from classified missions. The Blackbird represented cutting-edge aviation technology during the Cold War's final decade. United States, June 1925. A Native American woman works as a switchboard operator. Telephone operators required training and language skills. Indigenous peoples adapted to modern technology despite systematic cultural suppression. Such employment provided income while challenging stereotypes about Native Americans' capabilities and modern participation. Santa Barbara, California, 1931. Albert Einstein, 52 years old, stands on Leadbetter Beach. The physicist visited America frequently before fleeing Nazi Germany permanently in 1933. Einstein's relativity theories revolutionized physics. His humanitarian activism and pacifism made him among the 20th century's most influential figures. Paris, France, 1929. Photographer Clifton Adams captures the Eiffel Tower from Palais du Trocadero. The iconic structure defined Paris's skyline. Built for the 1889 World's Fair, it initially faced criticism but became beloved. The tower symbolizes French engineering achievement and Parisian identity worldwide. Schönau am Königssee, Germany, 1945. Two United States soldiers pose with dozens of art pieces stolen by Hermann Goering, found hidden in a cave. The Nazi leadership looted priceless artworks from occupied territories. Allied forces recovered millions of stolen cultural treasures throughout Germany following defeat. New York, September 1893. Three ladies hike their dresses to get close to the beach, captured on glass negative. Victorian modesty conflicted with desires for beach recreation. Women's clothing restricted movement and swimming. Such photographs document women navigating social expectations while seeking leisure and physical freedom. Kabul, Afghanistan, 1992. A convoy of Afghan Mujahideen freedom fighters rolls into the capital after the Soviet-backed communist regime's collapse. Civil war followed Soviet withdrawal. Taliban would eventually seize power. Afghanistan descended into decades of continued conflict following the Soviet occupation's end. Los Angeles, September 1949. One of Marilyn Monroe's early jobs before hitting it big was being the date of young Roddy McDowall at the Ricketts Club. Studio publicity events paired emerging stars. Monroe worked various modeling and escort jobs before achieving stardom, transforming into Hollywood's greatest icon.